I was packing my last cardboard box, taping it shut with that satisfying ripping sound, when I heard my parents call me downstairs. My University of Michigan t-shirt was hanging on the door, still smelling like fresh fabric. The laptop that got me through 4 years of high school coding sat on my desk surrounded by books about programming and computer science. I had a full scholarship waiting for me, 18 years of dreaming finally coming true. My brother Brandon was already sitting in the living room when I walked down, wearing a suit vest that caught the afternoon light. He smiled at me with that confident grin he always had. I thought maybe they wanted to throw me a little going-away party. I had no idea that moment was about to flip my entire world upside down. Before I tell you what happened in that living room, I want to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city in the comments below. And if you have ever felt like you were the backup plan in your own family, go ahead and hit that like button right now. Make sure you subscribe because you are definitely going to want to hear how this story ends. Trust me, what happened next changed everything. Let me take you back to that moment when my life took a turn I never saw coming. I sat down on the couch across from my parents. My dad cleared his throat in that way he does when he has something serious to say. Mom was twisting her wedding ring around her finger. That should have been my first warning sign. Dad started with those words that still echo in my head sometimes. Son, we need to talk about your college. My stomach dropped before he even finished the sentence. Mom jumped in quickly, her words tumbling out like she had rehearsed them. She explained that Brandon had this incredible opportunity to invest in a tech startup. He needed capital fast and the timing was critical. Then came the part that made the room spin. The $18,000 they had saved for my first-year tuition had already been transferred to Brandon. Brandon leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, looking at me like I was supposed to understand. Think about it, Kyle. My business is going to make real money. College is just theory, just textbooks and lectures. You should be proud you are supporting the family. This is going to benefit all of us. Dad nodded along like Brandon was making perfect sense. You are young, Kyle. You can take a gap year work for a while, save up some money. Brandon needs this capital right now. This opportunity will not wait. Mom reached over and put her hand on my shoulder, her voice going soft. You understand, right? Family comes first. We have to help each other. This is what families do. I sat there feeling like I was watching this happen to someone else. My ears were ringing. I could see my reflection in the window behind them, holding that Michigan t-shirt in my hands. I did not yell. I did not cry. I did not argue. I just asked one question, and my voice came out quieter than I expected. When did you decide this? Dad shifted in his seat. 3 days ago. Brandon came to us with the business proposal, and we had to move fast. I asked another question even though I already knew it did not matter. Did you think about asking me first? Brandon actually laughed like I had said something funny. Come on, little brother. Do not be selfish about this. This is so much bigger than just one person going to college. Think about the whole family. I stood up slowly. I looked at each of them, my parents who raised me, my brother who I used to look up to. I nodded once and said, okay. Just that one word, okay. I saw the relief wash over their faces. They thought I agreed. They thought I understood. They had no idea what that okay really meant. I turned around and walked back upstairs to my room, and I could hear them talking in low voices behind me, probably congratulating themselves on how well that went. I closed my door and sat on my bed, and that is when everything became crystal clear. That night, I sat on my bed staring at my acceptance letter from the university. The paper felt thin between my fingers. I thought about every single night I stayed up until 2 in the morning studying. I remembered working at the grocery store every weekend, coming home smelling like produce and bleach. My grade point average was 4.0. Perfect. I had done a free internship at a local tech repair shop just to learn everything I could. And Brandon. He graduated from business school with a 2.5 average, barely skating by, and my parents threw him a huge party. They were so proud. They told everyone their son was going to be a businessman. I opened my laptop and typed entry-level tech jobs, no degree, into the search bar. I scrolled through pages of listings, reading requirements, looking at salaries. Then I found it. A junior web developer position at a small startup in Denver, Colorado. The company was called Apex Digital. They were offering $15 per hour. It was not much, but it was something. I spent 2 hours writing a cover letter about every skill I had taught myself, every project I had built on my own, every line of code I had written in my bedroom. I hit send at 4 in the morning. By the time the sun came up, I had an email in my inbox. They wanted to do a video interview. I packed my backpack while my family slept. One change of clothes, my laptop and charger, my toothbrush, the $1,200 I had saved from my part-time job over 2 years hidden in an envelope at the bottom of the bag. I did not pack the Michigan t-shirt. I left it hanging on the door. I wrote a short note on a piece of notebook paper and left it on the kitchen table. I am going to make my own way. Do not worry about me. Kyle. That was it. Nothing else needed to be said. I called an Uber at 5 in the morning. The house was quiet. Nobody woke up. I walked out the front door and did not look back. Sitting in that Uber, watching my neighborhood disappear behind me, I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I felt cold and clear and determined. The driver asked if I was going on a trip. I told him I was starting a new job. That was not exactly true yet, but it felt true enough. At the bus station, I bought a one-way ticket to Denver. It cost $130. I had enough left to survive for maybe 2 weeks if I was careful. The bus pulled out of the station at 6:30 in the morning. I watched my city get smaller through the window. I whispered to myself just under my breath, I will show them, not because I wanted revenge, not because I wanted to prove them wrong, but because I needed to prove to myself that I could do this. Denver hit me like a wall of dry air and mountains in the distance. I had never been west of Ohio before. Everything felt different. The sky seemed bigger somehow. I found a hostel that charged $20 a night. It was a room with 6 bunk beds and people from all over the world. A guy from Germany, 2 girls from Australia. Nobody asked too many questions. The video interview with Apex Digital happened in the hostel common area. I sat in a corner with my laptop balanced on my knees. Marcus was the founder, a 35-year-old black man with kind eyes and a quick smile. He pulled up the portfolio I had sent him, the 3 websites and 2 mobile apps I had built on my own. "Where did you learn all this?" he asked. I told him the truth. YouTube tutorials, free online courses, late nights, and a lot of trial and error. He nodded slowly, studying my work. Most people who apply here have computer science degrees and internships at big companies. But honestly, your work is better than half of theirs. "When can you start?" I almost could not believe what I was hearing. "Tomorrow," I said. He laughed. "I like that. Welcome to Apex Digital, Kyle. We will start you at 15 per hour. It is not much, but we are a small team and we take care of each other." I thanked him about 5 times before the call ended. I sat there in that hostile common area, and for the first time in a week, I let myself breathe. The first month was the hardest month of my life. I worked from 9 in the morning until 6 at night. The office was tiny, just 4 desks in a converted warehouse space. There was Marcus Me, a designer named Sophia, and a back-end developer named James. After work, I would go back to the hostel and teach myself more. Cloud computing, artificial intelligence tools, new frameworks, new languages. I ate ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches. I stopped counting calories and started counting dollars. Every penny mattered. I found a studio apartment I could share with a roommate to bring the costs down. His name was Diego, a construction worker from Mexico who worked 12-hour days and kept to himself. We respected each other's space. We did not ask personal questions. It was perfect. My phone rang sometimes, my parents calling. I would watch it buzz and light up on my desk, and I would let it go to voicemail. I listened to one message, just one. My mom's voice sounded small and confused. "Kyle, where are you? Your note did not explain anything. Please call us back. We are worried." I deleted it and did not listen to any others. I was not trying to punish them. I just had nothing to say. Every night, I would sit at the tiny desk in that shared studio, and I would code until 1 or 2 in the morning. Diego would come home from work, nod at me, take a shower, and go to sleep. I could hear him snoring through the thin wall. Somehow, it was comforting. It meant I was not alone, even though I felt completely alone. 3 months into the job, Marcus gave me my first big test. A law firm in California needed a complete website redesign. They wanted it professional clean, easy to navigate, and they wanted it fast. Marcus dropped the project folder on my desk with a grin. "Think you can handle this?" I stayed at the office for 3 days straight. Marcus told me to go home. I told him I was close to finishing. I survived on coffee and vending machine snacks. When I finally delivered the website, the client called Marcus within an hour. I could hear him on the phone through his office door. "Really, you love it. That is incredible. Yeah, Kyle is amazing. We are lucky to have him." He hung up and came to my desk. "They want to refer us to 5 other law firms they know. Kyle, you just brought in more business than we have seen in 6 months. Your raise starts next paycheck, $22 an hour." That raise changed everything. It meant I could eat real food. It meant I could save a little. It also meant I could start taking on freelance work in my spare time. I created profiles on Upwork and Fiverr. I offered logo design landing pages, basic websites. My first freelance client paid me $300 for a small business website. It took me 2 evenings. I started learning how to negotiate, how to market myself, how to talk to clients like a professional. By the end of that first freelance month, I had made an extra $1,200 on top of my salary. I opened a small investment account and put $200 into index funds and a little bit of cryptocurrency. I did not know much about investing yet, but I was learning. I read books about personal finance. I watched videos about entrepreneurship. My 19th birthday came and went. I sat in my studio apartment eating ramen noodles, and nobody called. Nobody texted. It was just me, Diego, snoring in the next room, and my laptop screen glowing in the dark. I realized something that night. I did not need them to remember. I did not need them to care. I was building something they could never take away from me. 6 months after arriving in Denver, I noticed a pattern. Small businesses everywhere needed websites, but they could not afford the big agencies that charged $10,000 or $15,000. There was a gap in the market, and I could fill it. I created a service package. Professional website in 3 days. Price $2,500. I included hosting setup, basic SEO mobile optimization, and 1 month of free support. I started marketing in Facebook groups for small business owners. I posted in Reddit communities. I joined local business forums. The first month, I landed 3 clients. The second month, 8 clients. I was working 16-hour days, but I loved every minute of it. I realized I could not do everything myself. I started hiring freelancers, a graphic designer from the Philippines who charged reasonable rates and did beautiful work, 2 developers from India who could handle the coding while I focused on client communication and project management. I became the middle person, the quality control, the face of the business. My first month with this model, I cleared $4,000 in profit. The second month, $8,000. I was 20 years old, working from my tiny studio apartment, and I was making close to $100,000 a year. I quit my job at Apex Digital. Marcus shook my hand and told me he knew I would fly. He said I reminded him of himself 10 years ago. We still get coffee sometimes. 1 year after leaving home, everything had changed. I scaled the business even more. I hired virtual assistants to handle scheduling and emails. I built a remote team of 5 people across 3 countries. I expanded my services to include SEO, social media marketing, and full branding packages. My monthly revenue hit $20,000. My profit margin stayed around 50%. I was making $10,000 a month, sometimes more. I moved out of the studio and into a 1-bedroom apartment downtown. Real furniture, a nice desk, a good coffee maker. I bought a new laptop, not because the old one was broken, but because I could afford it. But I still lived carefully. I still reinvested most of my money back into the business. I built an online portfolio that showcased work from over 30 clients with testimonials and case studies. Sometimes I would look at my old laptop, the one I brought from home, and I would remember those nights in the hostel wondering if I was going to make it. One afternoon, I got an email from Aaron, a friend from high school. We had not talked much since I left. The subject line said, "You need to see this." I opened it and found a link to an article from our hometown newspaper. The headline read, "Local Startup Shuts Down After Failed Investment Round." There was a photo of Brandon, looking tired, standing in front of an empty office. I clicked the link and read the whole thing. His business was called Quick Bite, an app for food delivery that was supposed to compete with DoorDash and Uber Eats. According to the article, they burned through their initial investment in 6 months, mostly on advertising and overhead costs. They never figured out how to make the unit economics work. The investors pulled out. The app shut down. Brandon had lost everything, including the $18,000 that was supposed to be my tuition, plus another $30,000 my parents had apparently borrowed to give him more capital. There was a quote from Brandon at the end of the article. We learned a lot from this experience. Sometimes the timing just is not right, but I am grateful for the journey. I read that line 3 times. The timing was not right, like it was bad luck, like it was not his fault. I closed my laptop and sat there for a minute. I did not feel happy. I did not feel vindicated. I just felt nothing. I knew it. That was the only thought in my head. I knew this would happen. And somehow, knowing I was right did not make me feel any better. 2 days later, my phone started ringing. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again an hour later, then again that evening. I had 12 missed calls by the end of the day. Then the text started. Kyle, we need to talk. Please call back. It is important. I did not respond. A week later, Dad called. I watched his name light up my screen. Son, I know we have not talked in a while. We made a mistake. A big mistake. Can we please talk? I declined the call. The voicemails piled up. I did not listen to them. Then Mom sent an email. It was long, maybe 1,000 words. She told me about Brandon's business failing. She told me about the debt they were in. She said they should have listened to me. They should have supported my dreams. Can you forgive us? That was how she ended it. Not, I am sorry. Not, we were wrong. Just, can you forgive us? Like forgiveness was something I owed them. I read the email once, then moved it to a folder I never opened. I did not reply. Brandon reached out too. A text from a number I did not recognize at first. Hey, little bro, I messed up. I messed up bad. I am sorry. Can we start over? I blocked the number immediately. Over the next 3 months, my parents called at least 5 times a week, sometimes more. The voicemails changed tone. At first, they were apologetic. We are so sorry. We failed you. Then they became more personal. We miss you. We love you. Do not you miss us? Then they started asking questions. We heard you are doing well. We saw your LinkedIn profile. You are running a business. We are so proud of you. That last part made my skin crawl. They were proud now that I had money, now that I had built something without them. One time I answered a call by accident. I thought it was a client calling from an unknown number. It was Brandon. Kyle, please, I need your help. I am drowning in debt. The business failure ruined my credit. Mom and Dad are struggling too. I know I do not deserve to ask, but can you help me? Can you loan me some money? Just enough to get back on my feet. I hung up without saying a word. My hands were shaking. Not from anger, from something else. Disappointment, maybe, or just exhaustion. I was tired of being seen as a resource instead of a son, a brother, a person. Sitting on my balcony that night, looking out at the Denver skyline with all its lights, I thought about whether I should respond at all. Part of me wanted to tell them everything. How I slept in a hostel. How I ate ramen for months. How I built this business from nothing while they were probably sleeping soundly, thinking Brandon was going to make them rich. But another part of me realized something important. I did not need to tell them anything. I did not owe them my story. I did not owe them my success. I did not even owe them my anger. I could just let them go. I wrote one email. It took me 20 minutes. I kept it short. I appreciate you reaching out. I have built a life I am proud of. I do not need anything from you, and I cannot give you what you're looking for. I wish you well, but I'm moving forward without looking back. Take care. Kyle. I sent it and then blocked all their numbers and email addresses, every single one. I felt lighter immediately, not because I was punishing them, but because I was finally free. 2 years have passed since I left home. I am 22 years old now. My business keeps growing in ways I never imagined. Monthly revenue is consistently around $35,000. I have 3 full-time employees who work remotely. Good people who care about their work. We have expanded into consulting services. I teach small businesses how to handle their own digital marketing. I launched an online course about web development basics, and it brings in about $5,000 a month in passive income without me having to do much. My total yearly income is over $150,000 now. I bought my first car last month, a used Honda Civic. Nothing fancy. It is reliable and gets me where I need to go. I have saved enough to start looking at real estate. I am thinking about buying a duplex, living in one unit and renting out the other. Building wealth slowly and carefully. My life is simple now. I wake up early. I work on projects I care about. I go to the gym. I cook my own meals most nights. I have a few close friends here in Denver, other entrepreneurs who understand the journey. Diego moved out 6 months ago to live with his girlfriend, but we still meet up for beers sometimes. Marcus and I grab coffee every few weeks. He has become more than a former boss. He is a mentor, someone who gives me advice when I am stuck on business decisions. These people, the ones I found along the way, they are my family now. I learned something important over these 2 years. Family is not about blood. It is not about who you share a last name with. Family is about who shows up for you when things get hard. It is about who believes in you even when you do not believe in yourself. It is about mutual respect and support, not obligation and guilt. Diego is family. Marcus is family. My team members, who I've never met in person but who trust me and work hard every day, they are family too. My parents and Brandon, they are just people I used to know. People who made choices that hurt me. I have forgiven them, not because they asked for it, but because holding on to anger was only hurting me. But forgiveness does not mean I have to let them back into my life. I can forgive and still walk away. Those two things can exist at the same time. Looking back at my journey from that kid packing boxes in his childhood bedroom to the person I am now, I realize something wild. Not getting that tuition money was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. If I had gone to college, I would have followed the traditional path. Get a degree, get a job, work my way up slowly over decades. I never would have discovered entrepreneurship. I never would have learned how resilient I could be. I never would have found out what I was truly capable of when I had no safety net, no backup plan, no parents to call when things got tough. That pain, that betrayal, that moment when they chose my brother over me, it forced me to adapt. It forced me to become resourceful. It forced me to build something from nothing. I do not think about my parents much anymore. Sometimes I wonder if Brandon ever got back on his feet. Sometimes I wonder if they tell people about me, about my success, like they had anything to do with it. But mostly I just focus on what is in front of me. The next client, the next project, the next goal. Success is not about proving anything to anyone else. It never was. Success is living life on your own terms. It is building something you are proud of. It is becoming someone you respect. When other people doubt you, when they underestimate you, when they choose someone else over you, that is exactly when you need to believe in yourself the most. That is when you need to dig deep and find that strength you did not know you had. Sometimes the people who are supposed to lift you up are the ones who push you down. But here's what I learned through all of this. When they let go of you, when they stop supporting you, when they make you feel like you are not enough, that is when you learn to fly on your own. I do not need their approval anymore. I spent so many years trying to make them proud, trying to be good enough, trying to earn their attention. I do not need that anymore. I do not need their apologies either. They can keep those. I built something they could never give me. A life where I am enough just as I am. A life where I decide my worth. A life where I control my future. And that is worth more than any tuition money could ever buy. If you are out there watching this and you feel like the second choice in your family, if you feel like you do not matter, if you feel like everyone else gets the support while you get the leftovers, let me tell you something. You're the only person who gets to decide your worth. Not your parents, not your siblings, not anyone else. You decide. Do not wait for them to see your value. Do not wait for them to believe in you. Go out there and prove it to yourself. Build something that makes you proud. Become someone you respect. And when you do, when you're standing on top of everything you built with your own hands, you will realize you never needed their approval in the first place. You were always enough. You just had to believe it yourself. So, let me ask you this because I really want to know. Have you ever been in a situation where your family chose someone else over you? Where you felt invisible in your own home? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and I promise you are not alone in this. And if this story resonated with you at all, if you felt something while listening, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel because I share more stories about overcoming hard situations and building the life you deserve. Your support means everything, and it helps me keep making content like this. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I hope wherever you are in your journey right now, you know that you have everything inside you that you need to succeed. Keep going. Keep building. Keep believing in yourself. You have got this.